And I'm Lindsay.
And we're the Game Forum.
This week, we're going to ask the question, is E3 dying?
Yep.
To start with it, we're going to look at how E3 started off to begin with.
Yep. So E3 started off in 1995 at the Los Angeles Convention Center. There was about 50,000 people that attended. Sony, Sega, Nintendo were all there for the debut show.
That's really going way back if Sega and Nintendo were there at their launch.
Yeah, Sega and Nintendo both had press conferences as well.
In 1995, they launched the PlayStation 1, showing it off at
really?
E3. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, I was 4 years old. So. But they also, interesting for Atlanteans, in 1997, they came to Atlanta at the Georgia World Congress Center. There was only about 37,000 people, and I believe it was Nintendo, Sega, and Sony that attended.
Yeah, they actually moved to Atlanta because they could not secure the LA Convention Center. They weren't big enough to be important yet.
Yeah, not yet at least.
It was 1998. They ended up having 41,000 people attend, and it was Nintendo, Sega, and Sony again.
Yep, and I believe they went back to the Los Angeles Convention Center after that.
So they've moved around quite a bit, just trying to get started and I guess get off the ground.
Yeah. Moving forward, some highlights of E3. So we got Sony revealing the used game sharing it was the E3 2013 when they announced the PS4. Xbox One had come out and was like no used games, DRM, all this kind of stuff, or there's no DRM. And so Sony later that day, I believe, was like, oh yeah, you can use.
This is how you share a game.
Yeah, it was literally like I think they recorded that the day of or the day before.
It looked like it was like behind the stage thing, just done really quick. But it really got the point across and kind of dug the knife into Microsoft at that point.
Yeah. Jack Tretton's smirk was so well known. The crowd cheering, that was a huge high moment for E3. Also, another one was Reggie Fils-Aimé from Nintendo. The "My body is ready" comment when I think he was revealing the Nintendo DS. I think it was the Nintendo DS. That was a huge moment too.
Continuing on in 2015, Sony ended up showing off the Final Fantasy VII remake, Shenmue 3, and The Last Guardian all in 1 year.
Yeah, that was insane. Final Fantasy VII remake, which is actually coming out in just a few months, hopefully, as long as it doesn't get delayed again. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't they tease that in 2007 or something?
Yeah, they teased it a while ago.
But there was not a remake. They were it was not an actual game.
It was not supposed to be an actual game. They were just showing the technology, like what Final Fantasy VII would look like if it was remade.
I don't know why you would do that.
No, that did not go over the way they intended. Everyone thought it was going to be a remake.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Now we're actually doing it.
Now, 12, 15 years later, it's finally coming out.
Well, the studio actually said they never wanted to go back and do a remake of a Final Fantasy game. They said each one was perfect the way it was. So it took them a lot of convincing to actually go back and do it.
Well, they're in it now.
Another really interesting moment was from last year's 2019 when Keanu Reeves came out for the Cyberpunk showing at E3.
That was
pretty well destroyed the internet for a while.
Yeah.
That's all anyone could talk about.
Yeah, there's memes everywhere, and then his the breathtaking statement and stuff. It was a really cool, wholesome moment, and of course it had to be with Keanu Reeves. But it was on Microsoft stage, which they were the big ones there because Sony pulled out.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of Sony leaving, now we're going to start talking about the fall of E3.
Yeah. So, in E3 2013, Nintendo stopped doing their more traditional conferences. They started doing a more direct approach with their Nintendo Directs. It was just a video they would release every Tuesday after the big Monday showcase of all the games. And it's honestly worked in their favor.
Yes. They've been able to have a lot more control over showing everything to the public.
Yeah. It's cheaper. They have the message. They can control the hype, all that kind of stuff.
And they don't have to worry about something not working on stage either, because that can be a lot of negative press if it doesn't work.
Yeah. That could not work in anyone's favor. Also, Sony in 2019 pulled completely from E3. They weren't going to be there in any capacity at all. And they're also doing the same thing this year in 2020. They're not going to be going and instead favoring I believe they said like hundreds of events they're doing across the year.
Because they have like PSX, the State of Plays they've been doing, essentially copying the Nintendo Direct system.
Yeah, and like even Stadia has also copied the Nintendo Direct system, so that's clearly working.
Yeah. Also, another big change in 2017, E3 actually opened up to the public. So no longer was it just a insider or industry insider. I'm going to redo that.
Okay.
So also in 2017, E3 opened up to the public. No longer was it gaming insiders, but now it could be anybody. You could just buy tickets. Continuing with this trend, in 2020, they're raising the number of public tickets from 15,000 to 25,000. So it's going to continue.
We may have to redo that.
Also, in 2017, it was the first year E3 opened up to the public. So no longer was it a conference involving gaming insiders, but now you could just buy a ticket and go attend it yourself.
Long lines.
Very long lines. And continuing with this, in 2020, they've raised the number of people who could attend from 15,000 to 25,000. Again, showing a bigger focus, pulling away from the core group of people there to show everything to more or less just being open for the public like a lot of other events.
We also have a quote from IGN about ESA's plans to possibly change. They're not really confirmed yet, but this is how the quote goes. ESA had presented proposed but not finalized plans to make the 2020 event a fan, media, and influencer festival, bringing in more events for attendees while they are waiting in lines, a concept called queued entertainment. It's not a real word. That is only used in Disney theme parks, as well as priority key influencers to provide them appointment-only presentations on new games. Basically, they're copying Gamescom.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing.
So I guess in conclusion, we're seeing a big shift away from what E3 started as essentially a central hub to where all the big game companies and developers could get together, show each other and their investors and other people in the industry, what they were going to be setting for the next year.
Yep.
And with new advents in technology, they seem to be shifting away from that. They want a lot cheaper stuff to where they can address their audience directly. And it seems like E3 is kind of losing its limelight and becoming more of just a public spectacle, really.
Yep. There was a great quote from Sean Layden that I don't remember, but it basically was like, E3 was the, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo are going there to showing retailers, hey, this is what you want on your shelves this holiday. And Sony was like, well, you know what? June is a little too late in the year to do this. And so they were like, well, we're not going to do this. We're going to do our own thing, which is leading into the rumors of the February PS5 reveal event. We'll see if that's true or not. And so, even Microsoft, they're no longer at E3.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing something during E3. I think they're actually down the street.
Yeah.
Same thing with EA.
Event.
They have their EA Play type thing. So they get to control their own message, work in their favor. And so I guess in a way E3 is dying as we know it. But E3 as a whole is just going to change its concept into more of a PAX or a Comic-Con.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess that's all we got for this week. Check back with us next time for more content.
Yep. See ya.